Oh, tequila. I get tequila. I get it. Tequila.
DC's Arrow was like Little Red Riding Hood, but not really at all, though.
DC's Arrow was Robin Hood meets Spider-Man meets John Wick.
Arrow was the beginning of a CW adventure.
Arrow is basically the same story as Batman.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Fallingtower's Watch the First podcast in which we watch the first episode of a series so that you don't have to. With us today, you guys, special guest co-host. You can trust him. He's also he's wearing a shirt that says, "Trust me, I'm a scientist." He's the Dean of Arts and Sciences at Duke University. You can call him Dr. Muhammad Noor.
Hello. Pleasure to be on Watch the First. Thanks for having me. Thanks, John.
And you know, it wouldn't be a Falling Tower episode without Darth Shuey here with the plainest white background of all time, Guinness Book of World Records. And also, a lot of people know him from Glee. Some people know him from something Waverly Place. What was it, Muhammad?
Wizards of
Waverly Place. Sounds like chips. Yum. And he also has an award to show you a little later, everybody. It is Josh Sussman.
Hello. Excited to be here.
Josh also created some Joshisms that we have carried throughout Falling Towers Watch the First podcast, which includes if you rated something a 4, by definition, you did not like it. That is a Falling Tower rule because of Josh. See, Darth, you disagree already. You're already saying, yeah, that's not necessarily true, right?
No, it's an interesting thought. I like it.
Well, explain any other way. I don't see how someone could rate something a 4 and still say, I like that.
It's like,
no.
It's just barely like.
I guess it depends if the rating is just the average across all TV and you like most of what's on TV, as opposed to your personal view.
No, but it's not a top 10 list where you can't just have 1, 10, 1, and this is my 4th favorite, or this is my 4th least favorite out of 10. No, you could have multiple shows be, these are all awesome, these are all 8s, but even if
right.
Glad that
so everybody at home,
give it a 5.
Today we're doing a review of the first episode of DC's Arrow, entitled Pilot. Okay, thanks, guys. Always with Pilot.
Wait, was there a scene with the plane?
Very good. In the live chat or in the comments below right now, let us know if you're Team Josh or Team Ryan on this, because this all started, the 4 thing was because I said, I enjoyed this show, but I have to give it a 4. You know, it's like I was critiquing it and saying, I think that the show itself is a 4, even though I enjoyed it. Or are you do you think that's possible? Or are you Team Josh saying, like, don't overcomplicate, just keep it simple. If it's a 4, by definition, you didn't like it, period. Anyway, so I know, Darth, toughie, right?
Well, yeah, but say, what if you really like something, but you think it's like a piece of garbage, or you think something's really good, really well done, but it's just not your taste?
Well, see, then that's part of the discussion. So everybody let us know your thoughts on that in the comments below. We're going to talk about Arrow, though. DC's Arrow. People that tuned in for that are going to be pissed right now. Oh, by the way, my name's Ryan T. Husk. Let's do it. Let's just start with my favorite part of the show.
Wait, Ryan, why are people why are people who love Arrow going to be pissed? I heard you say that.
Because we're not talking about it. They're like, we didn't come on to hear you guys jibber jabber. We want to hear how much you loved Arrow. Well, you're about to find out.
We're putting people into predicaments.
Exactly. Predicaments. We all know each other fairly well, except for Muhammad and Josh, who just met just now, I believe.
Yep.
It's our first time.
Yep. Nice. Seen you on Watch the First before, though.
Mm-hmm. So we like to predict what the other person or persons thought of Arrow. And then we're going to find out if we're right. Muhammad, I'm going to predict you like superhero stuff. This didn't have too much of the fake science stuff that makes things ridiculous. It didn't have too much of that, or as much as a previous one that you said was kind of peculiar. By the way, everybody, this is Superhero Month. So if you like superhero shows, give us your suggestions in the comments below. Type WTF and the superhero show. But next month, September, since it's back to school, it's going to be Saturday morning cartoons month. So give us your favorite or least favorite or interesting Saturday morning cartoons in the comments below. Say WTF Smurfs or WTF Dungeons and Dragons, WTF Teletubbies. All of September, we will be doing those. So give us those suggestions. Anyway, Mohammed, I think you like this. I think you were a little more than lukewarm on it. You enjoyed it a little more than Luke Cage, but you didn't go nuts for it. Josh, I think you're going to be right down the middle on it. This is kind of a darker show, and I don't know if you like dark shows. Darth, I think Darth is a wild card. I think you're going to be actually very critical of this show because sometimes you call average shows a 10, and other times you call something terrible just for shits and giggles. I don't know. I can never predict you, so I'm going to just go out on a limb and say you're going to give this a pretty low mark.
Yeah, I'm very forgiving, but I have weird taste.
So for Ryan, I think you're warm on it, but not hot. I think you're going to like the story. I think you're going to like the setup, but I think the execution, you're going to be like, it left a lot of things kind of confusing. That's my guess. I'm going to do Josh last because I know you're the least. Sorry. Darth, I remember another DC show that's related to this one that you were quite keen on. So I'm going to guess that you would be maybe not as keen, but probably still quite keen on this one. So I'd put you more in the 8 range. Josh, nice. I don't really know. I'll just arbitrarily say 7-ish. I don't know.
I like Mohammed's like a Sherlock Holmes kind of reasoning. Like, is it great?
What do you think, Josh? Do you have some predictions, predicaments for us?
Well, it's a tough one, but Ryan, I'm gonna go with you first, and I'm gonna think that you're pretty warm on it. Not to copy Mohammed, but I think you enjoyed this origin story, just seeing everything unfold. It was fast paced. I hope as I'm talking, am I revealing what I thought? I always don't want to put my own personal things into others, so I'm going to try to avoid doing that. Mr. Darth, I hear you like DC. I hear you give things a 10. I'm going to think you might be giving this somewhere between a 9 and a 10. And Mohammed, I'm gonna your shirt says trust me. I'm gonna trust my instincts that you had a great time with it. Maybe you've already even watched the show. Your wallpaper right now has multiple characters, and it's maybe you love them all and they're beloved characters in your life.
Sounds like a like. The show that Mohammed was referencing that Darth enjoyed, I believe, was The Flash. It was DC's The Flash, CW. We just reviewed that just a couple weeks ago. Go check that out. That is WTF 124 with actor Desmond Heck. So check that out because this is all Superhero Month. Very nice. I'm going to tell him that. I bet he hasn't heard it.
No, you probably it's common. You think so, but
all right.
Let me know.
Mm-hmm. So everybody at home, it is time for you to make your predictions. Oh, we didn't get Darth. Oh my goodness gracious!
Yeah, I was
so sorry.
I'm the brain buster with you guys. I can't tell whether you guys are going to like it or not. I would say Mohammed's going to like it just because. Yeah, same with the Flash. Josh, man, oh man. I don't know your taste very well, so
salty
and same thing. I feel like I'm going to give my own take on the show if I say too much more about what I think Josh might. And Ryan, is also a tough one. Let's say he probably found it entertaining, but he's going to give it low marks. But yeah, that's my guess.
Interesting. Very sorry for cutting you off there, Darth, because you are the best hint giver to the audience. Because now
I don't want to say anything.
It's the audience's chance to make their predictions. And how could they make a prediction without Darth's clues that he gives them? So make your predictions now in the live chat or in the comments below. Do you think I liked this show? Do you think Josh liked it? How much? What about Muhammad? What about Darth? These guys are all wild cards. Who knows? But make your predictions now. While you're making those predictions, Muhammad here is going to buy you a little bit of time. So take your time, really think it out, type it out. Muhammad's going to tell us all what this show is even about.
I will indeed. So, playboy billionaire Oliver Queen cheats on his girlfriend with her sister Sarah and takes off with his dad and Sarah on a yacht that goes missing. After 5 years seemingly marooned on a deserted island as the sole survivor, Oliver is rescued and returns to Starling City. He arrives a changed man, incredibly fit, adept with a bow, having Spider-Man-like reflexes, and pursuing a secret mission. Now Oliver seeks to fix the corruption in his city and potentially even link to his family. But fixing that corruption seems to require lots of killing and maiming with arrows.
With arrows.
Sorry, my job requires a lot of killing and maiming. Sorry, but you know,
with arrows.
Yeah. So everybody, those are your hints. Finish up your predictions because it's really fun. It's really fulfilling when you get that prediction correct. You feel like a genius. You're like, see, I knew Josh was going to give it a 7. Or you go, see, I knew Darth was going to poop on this. I could just tell with the sneer he's got. All right, let's go to our favorite game. And by favorite, I mean my second favorite, really. What we do is we compare and contrast what we expected versus what we actually got upon watching this show. Muhammad likes to call it
expectations.
All right, let's have some fun, guys. Muhammad, before you watched this first episode of Arrow entitled Pilot, what did you expect, if anything?
So I had seen this particular episode before, and I mentioned that in a previous episode, so it's not really a spoiler. So I'll just talk about, since that was a while ago, I'll talk about what I expected this time. I knew the origin story that was going to be in there. Like, I knew the stuff about the island was there. I knew that he comes back to his family. We meet his mom. We meet his sister. Beyond that, I didn't really remember what the plot was for this first episode. I mean, I know the plot for the series, but I didn't know what the plot was for this first episode. So it was, you know, I found it kind of blank beyond those high level pieces. I probably shouldn't say any more, otherwise I'll start giving away things that I actually got. So I'll stop with that.
Interesting. What about you, Josh? What do you expect, if anything?
I knew zero about this show.
Wow.
The only thing I knew before going in was it was a CW show. I knew, I guess, around the time frame it aired because I heard of it. I didn't know that it was DC. I knew Ryan, before watching, Ryan told me that it was superhero month. So I was expecting, I guess, superheroes, but I knew
kind of a spoiler.
I think this is the first show I've been on, first episode where I went in with like a zero anything. So those were my expectations.
All right, everybody at home, you are in for a treat because Darth is going to tell you what he actually got while he's supposed to be telling you what he actually expected before watching it.
Darth,
Right on.
What did you expect before you watched this first episode of Arrow? And what are you drinking, Josh? That looks good.
Kombucha.
Yum.
Like watermelon flavor.
Ooh.
Whoa. Hey, I'm curious if anybody read any of the Green Arrow comics.
Mm-mm.
It sounded like Josh did because no, huh? Nobody. All right, just wondering. Damn. I mean, yeah, I knew it was based on a comic, but I was not really expecting too much because I guess probably when I saw this originally, I knew it was based on the comic, and CW. So I guess you kind of know what is. I when I hear CW, I think like teeny bopper shows, you know,
good looking people.
Yeah, good looking young people that are just there to Like they
I
probably give
never
him a
auditioned
crash
for the
acting
CW.
course. Teeny bopper problems.
All right. So that's what you expected.
Yeah.
All
Kind
right.
of had the bar set pretty low, I guess you could say.
Well, I'll tell you what I expected. Not too much. I feel like when we reviewed
Flash.
The Flash, Muhammad said that this was the first show. The
No,
Arrow
that's
was
what-
actually the first one of the DC universe that kind of kicked everything off. So maybe that means this was like 2012 or 13 or something.
Hey, what
like that.
about Smallville? Does Smallville not count?
No, I meant from the set with Flash, Arrow, Legends of Tomorrow, Batgirl, Supergirl. Like Arrow is the first of that set,
The
not
cinematic
first
universe
DC show
kind of
ever.
thing.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah. What about Lewis
So-
and Clark? Or
Yeah.
Lois and
Lois
Clark.
and Clark. Yeah,
Yeah.
again, those are all not connected. Yeah,
Okay,
Yeah.
that was CW. What was WB, and then before it turned to CW. So okay, I get it.
They're just trying to confuse their audience.
Right. Well, it didn't confuse me. I understood what Muhammad meant when he said that. But I feel like our friend Frank Zanka said that he loves this show. And I feel like he cosplayed Arrow a couple times at
nice.
conventions. And I also think that people mentioned that it was a great show. So I expected it might be pretty good. I feel like there was some kind of buzz around it that I picked up on that was in my orbit. So I expected it to possibly be pretty darn good.
you might remember I
That's
also
all.
referred to it as dark in the Flash episode. That was what Desmond harped on. This was a dark one.
I don't remember that, but
Oh, okay.
that is, yeah, that
That's a
is
fair assessment.
accurate. So that's what we expected before we watched this first episode, everybody. Muhammad, though, what did you actually get? And be honest.
Yeah. Well, actually, I forgot to mention one other piece that I expected. I forgot that I didn't know about. Is my wife had actually watched this ahead of time, like before I had ever watched it, and she went about a season in, and then was like, "I can't do this anymore," and she quit because it was for her.
So
It
one
was too
season
dark.
and then that was it, huh?
Yeah, she said it was too dark for her. I mean,
Oh,
for
wow.
me, it was an origin story as we expected in some sense, but it didn't elaborate as much of the origin as I thought. I mean, there was a lot of things that I mean, on the one hand, yes, we see Oliver Queen coming back and reintegrating with his family and at some level becoming the Green Arrow, but it left a lot of things unanswered. You know, there was a quick scene, for example, where he could speak Russian all of a sudden, and it seemed like everybody was
what's
surprised
that
that he
all
could
about?
suddenly speak Russian. So it left a lot of things unanswered, which, I mean, that could be perceived as good in the sense that there's a lot there left to discover. And I know since I've
Foreshadowing.
seen other episodes, I know where that goes. There are also a lot of hints. I was surprised how many hints there were to future things in the series.
Yeah,
But
nice.
there wasn't as much elaboration as I forgot. I had also completely forgotten about Tommy Merlin, like the guy who's there he is. There. Oh, no, there. This guy. I'd completely forgotten about him entirely. So,
That was like his best
oh yeah,
buddy.
oh yeah, he's got a friend. I forgot about that. So
Yeah, you know, I could just see something sinister on the horizon for that guy.
You've got
I'll
a
hold off on
friend.
saying anything there.
When you forgot about him, I guess I'm interpreting that as a spoiler that he doesn't last that long, or he's going to die off. That's
Oh,
I can-
interesting.
foreshadowing up.
Well, Josh, before we get into those kinds of spoilers, what did you actually get upon viewing this? Wait, Muhammad, did you tell us what you actually got, or did you just elaborate on what you expected?
No, that was what I got. Saying
Okay.
that the pieces that it didn't elaborate as much as I
Right.
thought about his actual story, and there was a little bit of a plot there with the whole Laurel Lance and I forget what the name of the bad guy was who
Hardy.
they stole this. Yeah, no, was that
Canyon.
Hardy? Was that his name? I can't remember what his
He was
name.
like a
Laurel and
Yankee.
Hardy, Laurel Canyon. Never
Yeah,
mind.
no, I understand, but I can't remember what the name of the bad guy. Adam Hunt.
Hardy Canyon.
Yeah.
Adam Hunt. Yeah, but we didn't. You know, there was a little bit of a story there, but it was a pretty minimal one in that sense of like bad guy. They got his money and gave it back. So
Yeah, the
okay.
bad guy of the week kind of situation was
Yeah.
what I was getting.
Yeah. They
was the vibe
changed
I
his name. Originally, his first name was going to be Mike.
I
So
get it.
I get it. So,
I get that one.
Josh, what did you actually get?
Well, when it started, he was living off the land on the island. I was thinking, oh, is this going to be a chore? I'm not really in the mood to watch a show just about the guy on the island. So I knew, again, nothing. I've never seen a trailer, so I was pretty relieved when a few minutes later he's rescued and the story starts to unfold. And I am thinking, well, it's revealed on the news that he's a billionaire. And I'm like, oh, okay, it is kind of Batman-ish. He seems to have some Bruce Wayne playboy qualities, and he seems to be very powerful with an arrow. Does he have any like special powers or abilities he got on the island, or is it just from training and sit-ups? Or I'm not really sure, but I really liked how. And I realized whenever I would watch a new iteration of Superman, or whether it's Smallville or Batman, and I see classic storylines unfolding, I'm thinking, oh, for people who know Arrow really well, they're probably knowing all of these names, and when names are revealed or other things, it's probably exciting to people who read the comic. And I was like, okay, I'm just finding this out for the first time, and I like how I'm being told, and I like how it's revealed. Oh, wait, this girl who's this Laurel girl. He was the sister, because whenever they're watching the news, we revealed, okay, she shut it off. She doesn't like this guy. Why doesn't she like him? And we later find out he cheated on her with the sister. And throughout up until the very end with Mommy, we so many things and just layered and layered. And I really liked how the story revealed itself to me.
Okay.
Yeah, it didn't do that like heavy-handed thing where they're like, You're my sister and my best friend. So let me tell you.
They did do
really
that once.
Yeah.
They did do that once. We can talk about that in a moment. Darth.
Was it the one towards the end? With the cop?
I don't remember. I'll look it up. Darth, what did you actually get upon viewing this?
What was it, like about 45 minutes of entertaining. It's an entertaining story, and it definitely has a lot of those like intrigue when they're trying to suck you into their story with what's going to happen here, a lot of open threads. Guess you got to stay tuned to see where that thread goes, that kind of stuff. Yeah, it's entertaining. I'd say it grabbed you. It's pretty well done.
Well, I'll tell you what I actually got. I got something that I think was the opposite of my argument against Josh's 4, which was I think I got something that I enjoyed less than how good I thought it was, rather than something that I enjoyed a good amount but thought it wasn't very good. I thought this was kind of better than my enjoyment would have others believe.
So not your style.
I was pretty bored. I was pretty bored upon watching. I kind of just started doing other stuff, just kind of like listening to it. And I felt comfortable doing that because I didn't think I was going to miss anything. And that's not a good sign for me. Is I could kind of start doing other stuff and only kind of half listening. And I'm confident based on the first 30 minutes of how it's played out. I'm confident I'm not really going to miss anything. And if I do, I'm not really going to care.
Wow.
So that's kind of where I was with this, was that critically speaking, there are a lot of things I could say that are really good about the show, or pretty good, but that my enjoyment factor was pretty darn low. I felt like they were trying to put me to sleep. So
wow.
Yeah, boy, oh boy. I know. What's this guy's problem, Ryan? He just can't give a compliment to save his life. So Muhammad, when I said this show is boring, you seemed shocked. You said wow twice.
Yeah.
Tell us why. Tell us why it's such a shock that somebody would think it's boring.
I didn't feel there was a lot of what I would just describe as just complete filler. Now, part of it might be that I know where a lot of things are going, but I mean, it didn't seem like there were a lot of scenes that were just completely dispensable. Like I think if you were to shorten out all the pieces that were dispensable, you might take out like 10 minutes total or something like that.
Yeah, but what really can you shave off of that thing?
Yeah, no, I didn't feel like there was
weird.
A lot. I just trimmed my beard today. The flashbacks I mean, you'll see those through the whole series. Like, there's a lot of like going back to what happened, and actually it was I thought it was cool at the end there where it actually showed the murder suicide thing. I was waiting the whole time, like, is this coming this episode or is it later? Because I remember that was part of the whole thing, because that was how he got that book, the little book that he's carrying around with the names that
like his people that he's got to take out.
Yeah, exactly. It was associated with the whole murder suicide thing where his dad shot the other guy on the boat and then killed himself. And I was wondering, like, did this not happen? Then the very end of the episode, like, oh, okay, so it does happen this episode.
Yeah, pretty intense way to close it out.
Yeah.
Murder, suicide.
That's part of why I'm surprised that Ryan was bored, because I didn't feel. I mean, there were like intense fight scenes throughout, and there was some intrigue with family, intrigue with friends, and intrigue with I guess you'd say ex-girlfriend.
Maybe that's what it was. I mean, the fights are okay. Fights in the dark are kind of a little less interesting, and fights don't really do it for me. They used to, but when you've seen a million fights over and over again, the only time that you're really going to be shocked by it is if they're doing something new or interesting or creative. Stunt coordinators are great at this, where they create really interesting and elaborate ways of doing fights, like a fight with an ironing board or a fight on a jet ski or things like that.
Building.
When we all know Jack Tripper of Three's Company is the expert at fighting with an ironing board. But I guess it's like the family intrigue doesn't do anything for me. I felt like this was an origin story that didn't really tell you much about the origin.
Yeah, that is true.
It teased the origin. And so every time I'd lean in, I'd be like, oh, cool, we're going to find out. Oh, no, they're just giving us a tiny one-word hint.
Well,
Josh, tell us why I'm wrong.
Well, just like the show Lost, which was mentioned on this show, there's a lot of things being revealed that tell us if we keep watching. And I think they don't want to give us everything. And I think it's right now, not to get ahead to the future, but as opposed to if I was watching this for the first time and, there's a new episode next week, right now I'm overwhelmed with 8 years. It's 8 seasons. Like, I don't know what's going to happen, but they have to keep you watching, and they can't just tell you everything. And then Lost, I don't know if I agree with their assessment on that. I mean, we could have a whole episode just discussing the end of Lost.
That would be fun.
Well,
that was fun.
I do enjoy them discussing what he's missed over the last 5 years. I think that's funny. We're 5 years. This is what's happened, and we have this. There's a black president. There's
the Super Bowl champions was funny.
I love the digs at Lost and at Twilight too. That was really funny.
Oh, the Twilight,
Twilight, you didn't miss anything.
I don't know if they should disrespect the Twilight fans. They're pretty hardcore. I wonder. I don't know how active Twitter was when it was 2012, where the Twilight people were they angry.
Yeah, they alienated a lot of potential fans with that.
They would have canceled Arrow right then and there. However, you did mention Lost a bunch of times. I do want to point out that WTF, our podcast, did review the first episode of Lost. It was all the way back, WTF number 12. WTF number 12. It was released on June 8th, 2020. And the guest was Russian actress, Polina Matvieva, good pal of ours. So check that out, WTF 12. You were going to say something, Mohammed?
I was going to say, I love the comment that, just talking about things that I enjoyed, the comment that Tommy Merlin said at one point to Oliver, where he said, have you noticed how hot your sister has got? And then when he gave him that look, said, because I have not.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
Darth, what was the best moment of the show for you? What really made you say, you know what, this is a great show?
Oh man, I don't know. It's kind of funny because this guy, what's his name that plays the Oliver?
Stephen Amell.
Yeah. I feel like he's not. He's like a lot of TV actors. They're not like good actors. They're like passable, but he's likable. He's good enough. He's likable. He's in good shape. I don't know. He's charismatic. So I guess I kind of liked. If I were to say like a highlight scene, I like the scenes like a montage scene where they rebuild something, or so I liked when he turned that old factory into his and then you see him training, his lair, and he's doing the training. That was fun watching him shoot those tennis balls and making the arrows. And another little detail I like, which I mean, I guess I don't even know, you'd credit the prop makers or something, but if you look on the handle of his arrow, there's like all these tiny little symbols or characters or something on there, and I was like thinking like, damn, that looks cool. That's super intriguing. What the hell is that? He carved that on the island or something,
The tennis ball scene was interesting because you didn't actually see them hit the balls. You just saw them shoot the arrows, and then you saw all the balls in arrows on the wall.
Pretty cool. I'm sure that
I
was
had a nitpick with that though.
Time.
The arrows should have been at a downward angle because he's standing up shooting down at these things. But of course they weren't.
He's just that good.
Okay, I can buy that.
I had a question about his lair. when we saw him setting up his lair, which was really cool on computers, like you'd think just with, and I don't know if I'm supposed to have suspension of disbelief, but if I imagine people are trying to look for him or figure who he is, wouldn't through IP, wouldn't they be able to track where his computer is?
And who's to say that thing has like electricity and lights and all these things working?
And there was already Wi-Fi.
Presumably a working toilet.
And then how does that work when he shot the arrow into, I guess, the thing, and it was able to wipe out the guy's bank account? Like, how does how does the technology of that work? And how are they not noticing, I guess, where it's going to? I guess it's going to all sorts of other people who Mr. Hunt.
Yeah.
You think they'd be able to trace that, no? And an arrow just depletes a bank account?
Well, I don't know. On the Avengers, what's his name? Hawkeye. Pierce, his arrows do all kinds of crazy. Like, goes into the computer, he's got all these crazy arrows. Like that, those are even crazier arrows than this guy has, I think.
But he really missed tequila. So I wonder if that's just what you say at a party, or if like for 5 years that's the drink he's wanted.
Yeah, 5 years.
You know what his favorite kind of tequila was? Mockingbird.
Josh is like,
thanks, Mom.
Is that a joke? Wait, Mockingbird?
Is that a joke? That's the best.
It's a reference before Josh's time.
It's a reference of an old book that's really a great book called To Kill a Mockingbird.
Yeah.
Oh, tequila! I get tequila. I get it. Tequila. I didn't.
What did you all think of John Diggle? This guy right here.
I liked him. He was the character I was most interested in based on their introduction. He had the best introduction to me, I guess is what I'll say.
But he's not that good at his job.
Not yet.
Well, I mean, look at how he's trying to protect, though.
Military news.
I think that more shows like what's his name, Arrow can do. More a testament to his skill.
But we saw twice him just be humiliated, and he's not even. And what does he get in trouble? Is he going to get fired from his job? And also,
that's I'm really curious if he's in the comic. If that's a character from the comic, like how many of these characters? Like, I really want to know how close is this to the origin story.
Yeah.
And now I'm wondering for the first time, his mom, spoiler, who's revealed to be bad, his mom hired him. So he's probably bad also. I thought maybe he was genuinely trying to protect him, or does he know that he's working for a mom who's bad, an evil mom? What is Diggle? Oh, so many reasons to keep watching, but it's 8 seasons.
Yeah, I didn't know. Wait, I didn't catch that. Is that kind of like revealed in the pilot? Because I didn't get anything. I somehow missed the mom. You find out the mom's evil or no?
The last scene was the moms had apparently hired well, we don't know about bad. We know the mom had hired the people who had tried to kidnap Oliver. She's trying to find out what he knows.
Okay, yeah.
The mask, yeah.
Which is interesting because they got actually like killed. Because remember, he said something like we can't have survivors to know anything. Like, whoa, okay.
She wants to find out what he knows or what he knows about the dad. And the other guy, she wants to,
Yeah. What's the guy's name? Walter Steele. That's the other guy's name.
Yeah, great name.
Yeah, so they were teasing a lot of stuff. They had a lot of stuff that they're like, look, this is an existing fan base. We can be patient with it. We can create this mystery and reveal it bit by bit. And they mapped that out very well. I mean, they had a lot of elements. They didn't just create like a little episode and then build from there. They kind of built this giant season or series, and then we're just giving us the first little taste of it, right?
They have the whole story already, and they know just enough, tease us just enough.
And I liked that it. Oh, sorry. Did I interrupt? I like that it didn't seem to be just a standalone thing where there was the bad guy of the week or something where it is an ongoing thing. I think that makes more modern television a lot more exciting and easier to watch or binge watch than, I guess, shows maybe that we grew up watching where they're all just standalone. And
I wouldn't know that because I never grew up. Hey.
Oh.
Well, you know what, guys? Speaking of Peter Pan-like charm, it's time to talk a little bit about you, Josh Sussman, that everybody knows and loves. How are you? And first of all, everybody, Josh brought a little show and tell for us today. Can you please show us the goodie that you showed us a second ago before we hit record?
but it might. When I showed you, I didn't have this virtual arrow wallpaper on, so I
Just
might
hold it
not.
in front of you. Hold it right in front of you. Should be okay. Yeah.
This is because I was noticing Ryan's award is YouTube thing, so I was showing him that I have. Showing him. Let me read it.
What is that? I recognize that.
SAG award for
nice.
Best Ensemble 2010.
It's a SAG award, Screen Actors Guild, and you've got an award for Glee. That's pretty awesome, man.
I'm very pale. I want to get another one so I could lift weights with two. I could do double curls. I need to get another one of these. But
everybody else wants to just be able to see one in their lifetimes, and Josh is like, I need another one. This is boring just having one.
Yeah. No, because then your arms are going to be uneven. Ryan, you know, that's what you're at the gym all the time.
Yeah, I have to carry all my awards to the gym to work out with them because other weights are too weird to hold.
Yeah.
So Josh, you had a couple of things on IMDb that said they were either finished or in post-production. One was Finding Fillion, and the other was Personal Demons. Can you tell us anything about those?
What? I like good research, but sometimes there's things on IMDb that have been in those sections for like so many years, and they either never even happened, or they never, or they're hoping to happen. But Finding Fillion, I shot that. That was something that was filmed. I think it was released on YouTube, and it was like, and I think Personal Demons is something they shot. They did a sizzle reel and they did a Kickstarter thing, but I don't think anything's ever happened for it.
Oh, so, it says it was in post-production. I guess not.
It's been like, should I take it off my IMDb? I don't know. Like sometimes people say, "Oh, it's good if something's on your IMDb. It shows you're working." But then when it's there forever, and then sometimes I worry that there's too many IMDb credits because I'll look at someone like Edward Norton or Jake Gyllenhaal, and I'm like, "Wait, I have more credits than they do." Where every one of their credits, you see it, and it's something great and very recognizable. Where it's like, oh, it looks like Josh will do anything, and it's things that aren't released. But yeah, I wish I was able to tell you. Yeah, Personal Demons is coming out in October, and it's going to be great.
Check it out, everybody.
I wish
check your local listings.
And yeah, I think Ryan, we have things in the works. I think we might have some mutual IMDb things that have yet to live or emerge.
I definitely have one I can think of right now, and I know I have another one, but I can't picture it right now.
Am I allowed to say it? No. Can I ask?
You and I know the first one, but I'm trying to think. There was another one that I had. I can't think of it right now. Where I'm just like, what? Oh, I think I know what it is. Yeah. It's like, if this is never going to be done, that's cool. No hard feelings. You know, you say as an actor, I'm going to be attached. Sure, no problem. But if it's never going to be done, then you're like, okay, that's fine. No hard feelings. But then why is this still, why is this still up?
Somebody needs to edit.
Or if it is, then update us.
What's going on with our IMDb mutual credit right now?
Ooh, that's what I have no idea. Same as you.
Okay.
So sorry.
That's
what do you
okay.
think, Mohammed?
I just like having my name next to your name. That's cool.
I know. We got to actually
together in a show.
We actually got to get some IMDb credits together on a show that actually does happen. That's not just like in development for 4 years or something. You know what I mean? But like one that's actually going to happen. Do you actually have, Josh, any new shows coming up soon, or new episodes or new commercials that you'd like people to look out for?
I wish that the answer was yes, it's coming in December. But there's nothing that I'm supposed or allowed to talk about currently. So I could just talk about personal projects like trying to remember suntan lotion when I go outside, trying to not eat after I'm full. Those things, but those are just for me. You don't get to watch those on TV unless I made a YouTube vlog about it, which Maybe I could. I do.
You could put any old thing on YouTube. Trust me.
Really? And people will watch?
Look, right now, I got a hint for you. Right now, everybody is on YouTube watching Darth sew something. What are you sewing, Darth?
Working on my dad's jacket.
Nice.
Enterprise.
Badass.
Yes.
Yeah, so
Why are you
Muhammad
holding
Ali,
out
this
on
guy,
us?
yeah, you'll notice my handiwork. But yeah, for my old man for the Star Trek convention.
I saw some projects I produced on that.
Probably,
Blade of Honor was one. Oh yeah, Renegades is there. There's Renegades and Blade of Honor. Nice.
Was that regular Enterprise?
Yeah, I didn't produce Enterprise, sadly. I was busy. I was busy back then before I ever acted or produced anything. Anyway,
who was a producer, a writer on Enterprise was a guy named Mike Sussman, and
Any relation?
We're not related, but we met him. He knew me, I think, from maybe it was Glee, and he told me because he had the same last name, and he said it's Mike Sussman, and I said, "Did you write on Enterprise?" And he said, "Yes." I said, "I would see your name." I get so excited, so it's so cool that we're meeting.
Damn,
speaking of seeing your name, it's also cool to hear your name. And this show was suggested to us by Rose Kirby out in the UK. Rose Kirby, this episode is for you. You are the one that said, "Why don't you WTF Arrow?" So this is for you.
Thank you, Rose Kirby.
Yeah, she's badass. However, it's time for the bottom line. Muhammad knows, aka the Terrible Twos. We got to knock it out of the park, you guys. It's go time. Question number 1 is, Muhammad, on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you give this first first episode of Arrow?
Give this episode
first Arrow.
Am I still there? Okay.
You're back. You're back, yeah.
Oh, okay. On a scale of 1 to 10, I would give this episode a 7.5. Where I found it engaging. I thought that I actually like having not everything released right off the bat. I like a little bit of the slow burn. This was a slower slow burn than I may have expected. One thing I didn't like, which we didn't actually get to, the pieces I didn't like, was the bad aim villains. This is a typical stormtrooper thing. Oh my god, really? Like they're that bad with their guns and stuff?
Yeah.
I was thinking, are they implying that these guys are really bad, or are they implying that Arrow just is really maneuverable and I was like,
you can't dodge a bullet.
Very maneuverable. Yeah, that's what I was like. That happened like a good 2 or 3 times.
He didn't have a Captain America shield. Yeah, there was no excuse.
Yeah,
okay.
And everybody at home right now, I do want to let you know that this is the 3rd time out of the last 6 episodes that Muhammad has given a 7.5. Which episodes?
It's my mode.
We're just going to have to find out.
Not the mean, not the median. The mode.
Try to guess out of these shows which ones he gave 7.5. 30 Rock, Martin, Silver Surfer, The Flash, and Marvel's What If. This is the 3rd one out of those that got it. So there are 2 of those he gave a 7.5. Which one? Check it out on WTF. Josh, what would you give this on a scale of 1 to 10, by the way?
I can't believe I'm going to say this, but maybe a 9.5.
Wow.
Nice.
I had so much fun. And I think just having the expectations, I really wasn't looking forward to it. I love being on the podcast, but watching a show that I never had interest in before could sometimes feel like a chore. And it's like, there's so much to watch. I'm behind in all the TV I'm watching, but I want to be on the podcast, and I loved it.
Awesome.
Wow. And we love you. Thanks for the vote of confidence. He said the show can be a chore, but being on the podcast makes it worth it. Darth, speaking of chores, don't forget to wash the dishes. On a scale of 1 to 10, what would you rate this episode of Arrow?
I'm really leaning towards Muhammad's assessment. I feel like I agree with most of the things he said. The only thing I'm just kind of like on the fence if I would agree. I was thinking 7, maybe 6, but I'm gonna go with a solid 7. Yeah, it's pretty solid.
Wow.
Hey, Darth and I are similar.
Pretty nice.
You put aside like a good-looking people and the mediocre acting, like if you cut it some slack for being TV, like it's pretty solid story and everything,
Right. So, you guys, here it comes. I'm going to give this one a 6.7.
Wow, so you're very close.
Right. My number kept going up the more I thought about last night when I was watching this. The more I thought about, am I talking about personal preference or how good this thing is? Because first I was giving it like a lower number, but then I was like, no, but it did do this and this works and this is good. It's just not something I like. And so the number kept going up and I settled in at a 6.7. I don't think it's a bad show at all. I think it's fairly good. I think they achieved what they were trying to achieve, even if I don't really like what they were trying to achieve, you know?
Yeah.
So Josh is like, if you gave it a 6.7, you liked it, period.
That's
all there is to it. You weren't over the moon, but you did like it. Muhammad, for the purposes of this podcast, we all had to watch the first episode of Arrow, but now the podcast is over. Question number 2 is, would you of your own volition watch the second episode?
I've seen all 8 seasons, so I guess that would be a yes.
That answers that question.
Did you watch them as they were on television?
I did watch them. Well, I think I started while it was on season 3 or so, and then I watched the rest as it aired after that. Yeah.
Was it all like enjoyable, or did you just feel like, oh, I got to finish this?
By the last few, I was definitely like, there's a big change that happens later on, and I didn't love the big change in terms of the team. So the last few were somewhat less. It was okay, but it was somewhat less enjoyable. But the first several seasons were quite good, and actually the build is interesting in that, you know, you're still in season 4 getting more stories of what happened in those 5 years he was away. I won't say any specifics there. There were a lot of little spoilers though. I don't know if you noticed the mask that was on the island.
I caught that, I know a little bit what Deathstroke.
Exactly, it's Deathstroke's mask, and that comes up a lot in season 2.
Oh, Deathstroke, not Deathstroke. Got it.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, no.
Well, I was like, oh, Deathstroke. Okay, I'm interested. Well, look, Josh, you gave it a 9.5. Are you going to watch the second episode?
See, that's a tough one.
See,
even though it's 8 seasons.
No, it's the second.
There's not enough. Okay, but going into watch, there's no point in just watching the second if I'm not going to make a commitment and, you know, maybe watch a season. So you're asking when I watch the next one. I guess so. I'm very hesitant. I need to get a calendar or something to help with my schedule, because and also knowing so many shows, it probably does go through a part where it gets bad, and it's like. But I could see myself being a total sucker for these CW shows and teen drama, and they're gonna hook me right in, and it's probably gonna be cheesy and corny, and I'm gonna love it.
Wow!
Yes, I would. I really would.
That's an accurate assessment.
That's great.
I watched it this morning, and I loved it. And as I was like halfway through, I was like, "Curses! I loved it. I'm in trouble. I don't have time to watch 8 seasons." But oh God, I think I want to.
You're not on a time constraint. You can watch 8 seasons over the next 8 years if you want.
Yeah, but that's not the way to do it.
And report back to us and let us know how they were.
In 12 years, like, hey, I finally finished it.
Now, speaking of 12 years, Darth, would you watch the second episode of your own volition?
Yes. Yeah, I think I watched, when I watched it originally, I think not quite Muhammad's level, but I think I watched like 9 episodes, something like that.
Okay.
Don't know why I
all
stopped
first
watching.
Season?
Yeah, the first season. Probably a couple years ago.
Seems like a pretty easy yes for you.
Ryan?
Yeah.
Well, it's a no from me. They set up some mysteries that, you know, made me slightly curious about, but I appreciated that they did that, but I didn't care about the show enough for the curiosity to make me want to watch a second episode. I would more rather just ask somebody, so what happened on the island? What's the big mystery? What's the thing? And they could tell me in like 30 seconds, and I could be like, and I hold that on close to me and be like, good, I have that answer now. I feel good, you know, and I cuddle it. But anyway, that's it for me, everybody. I would not. Sorry, it was okay though. It's pretty good. If you'd like us to review a show, in the comments below, just type WTF and the show. Remember, Saturday morning cartoons are up next. Also, please tell us where we can stream it. Netflix, Hulu, HBO Max, Disney Plus, whatever. YouTube, usually kind of crappy, but just let us know, and there's a higher chance we'll be able to do it then. That's it. I think what I'm trying to say is, besides, please like, subscribe, give us your comments, and share with your friends. However, I will say that this podcast was like an arrow straight through my heart. I didn't like it.
This podcast was a fun time chatting with friends new and old.
Ah, nice.
This podcast is always fun to do, so I had a great time.
That's
Damn, nice. This podcast was easily more fun than the show, but that was also very enjoyable.
Now I feel bad for my first one. This podcast was like an arrow straight through my heart because I felt love. See, that's like a arrow straight through. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. Yes, Josh?
When you say this podcast was like an arrow straight through your heart because you didn't like it, but you didn't like the show, but you like the podcast though, right?
Right. Here's the key, Josh. You have Josh rules. I have Ryan rules. My rule is I can't be held accountable for every stupid thing that comes out of my mouth. I just say stuff. Just sometimes it makes sense, but that's purely out of luck. I'm just shooting arrows in the dark, and sometimes something makes sense.
I see what you did there.
Thanks. So here's the key, guys. Just remember what Mr. Michael Kenyon Rosenberg always likes to say.
Don't forget to be an organ donor, and don't forget to watch the first of things.
All right, freeze frame like arrow.
That shitty smile.